This here is these two rooms here are very large studios. This is the property I've just sealed the deal with today to start this Sacred Art School. And the whole idea with this school is to continue this artistic and apostolic direction and mission. So it's to create an environment where great artists can really steep themselves in the faith and in the culture and in the artistic language and create an artistic revival. Because one thing I've noticed over the years is that if you want a revival of culture, you have to work from the core of our culture, which is sacred art. I try to revive the culture through academic, technical means, and hoping that people will come from beauty to truth, but I'm realizing through that it's not the way. You have to start right from sacred art, because that's where all great culture comes from, the sacred. It's not only in Western culture, but also in other cultures. So essentially, if you look at the great masterpieces of Western culture, they all come from Christian sacred art. And that's why I want to steep these people in sacred art and create an environment where they can do that. And essentially, I don't see myself as a Michelangelo. I would see myself more as a Ghirlandaio, from whom studio Michelangelo came. So if I can create an environment where great talent can be nurtured, that is the seedbed of a new evangelization and a new springtime in the church. That's all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you don't, feel free not to ask. Go to bed.
When did you start art? Like, did you have the talent from the time you were like little?
I suppose in a way, actually, it's a funny story. I started when I was 7. I went to an art school, kind of summer camp, and my brother was teaching on it. And the Irish television were doing a documentary about it. It was kind of a kids program, and the presenter came up and said, he asked me what I was making. Now, you ask a 7-year-old kid what he's making. I said, what do you think it is? And he said, he couldn't use it. But my brother told me about that because he was teaching at the time. I can hardly remember it. But yeah, I started at a very young age. Not only as an artist, but a very cocky artist. No, it was around that period. Actually, that was around the same period that my mother gave me a bag of clay for my birthday. And that was the greatest present I ever got, because you give a kid a bag of clay, he can make whatever present he wants. That's really where it started.
Where did you, or when did you kind of start your mission for evangelizing through art? When did you realize that?
I suppose I've always grown up in a very positive Catholic environment. My father joined Opus Dei when I was 2 months old. So I always grew up with those values. And then I joined Opus Dei myself when I was 19. I'm now nearly 40. So most of my life I've been in Opus Dei as a celibate, fully committed member. And that has informed me, because that's essentially strengthened my faith and helped me apply my faith to my profession. So obviously, as an artist and as a deeply committed Catholic, that will manifest itself in my work, and that's led me towards sacred art. And I would see the apostolate. My apostolate as an Opus Dei is sanctification in the middle of the world. It's sanctification of work. So my role is to sanctify my work and sanctify others through my work. So as an artist, the most obvious thing to do is to glorify God through my work, whether it's through secular work or through sacred work. But I find the biggest urgency there is in our culture is the need for sacred art. And especially, as you probably noticed, I'm quoting the Pope quite a bit. John Paul first, and I haven't got around to actually. The new school is based on Pope Benedict's ideas. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, the Pope we have is the Pope we must love and serve. Essentially, as far as I'm concerned, all life is about service, and all work is about service. And as St. Escriva says, we are to serve the church as the church wants to be served. Not what I want, is what the church needs and wants. And I see we're very lucky to have a Pope, so we know exactly what the church wants at this time, and we have a guide, a shepherd, who will give us exactly what we need. And that comes in the form of encyclicals and papal addresses and so on. So we have no concept of how lucky we are. No matter how much you follow the Holy Father, still you never really penetrate the gift we have of faith. And to the extent that if we want to know what's the best thing to do today, all you have to do is go to the encyclicals, go to the catechism, and there the Holy Father has given us what we need. So that's really where I come from, and I passionately love the church, and I want to communicate that in our work. So with John Paul II, the fundamental thought was theology of the body, and still is extremely relevant to today. Pope Benedict is a complete continuation of John Paul II, but he has a stress on liturgy and the importance of liturgy. It's not his only thing, but liturgy is fundamental to his papacy. And what he means by liturgy is not, doing all things nice and flowery and so on. No, liturgy is so much more. Liturgy essentially is direction. Liturgy gives us direction. It's turning towards the Lord. Okay? So what we have in liturgy is we have the church showing us the direction towards God, what God wants, and how we relate with God. Okay? So that is fundamental, especially today. The greatest crisis we have in today's culture is faith. And that faith comes from